Greetings and welcome. This is JCBIY Events Talk Show, and I'm your producer slash director, vocalist John Carr, a star from another galaxy, a soldier of love. I'm feeling this cheer. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? I'm just feeling it.
Back to the full.
I can't.
I'm with all this royalty right here.
Oh, yeah. And I am Valencia M. I am a singer, a writer, a performer, and I am a shining star. I'm also an expanded function dental assistant and a health and wellness coach. And I am the assistant director and host of JCBIY Events Talk Show.
Yes, and hello everyone. I am Virginia Yates, founder of Chosen Career Consultants. I am a business coach, public speaker, motivational speaker, and all-around believer in you.
Welcome, welcome. Hey, so today we have our special guest, Amber Etienne, who is a financial advisor or expert. I know her, she's my best friend, and she has absolutely helped me with learning about finances and what to do, and she's kind of been guiding me, and she has her own businesses actually. And so I
Don't limit her. She has business.
yes, businesses. Okay.
Talent. Thank you.
At the same power, okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I wanted her to come on and talk to all of us about financing, credit, all of that kind of stuff. So, Amber, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you. So yes, my name is Amber Etienne, and I currently have a job on top of three businesses I'm establishing. I've been doing credit repair and credit, anything around credit, meaning mortgaging, fixing people's credit. I've been doing that for, I don't know, like 8 or 9 years because I worked in the bank, and I used to do presentations at companies and through my bank, and that's what made me say, you know what, there is a need in the community of our people who do not understand just the basics. Because I'm thinking everybody knows the basics, but it's because I worked in finance and I got the basics. But if you don't work in the industry, you don't know. You don't even realize the little mistakes that you do that damage you, for long run. And when you really need your credit, that's when you're like, what the hell? I need to fix it. So I help with that. I also help with business credit. So I have three clients that I help with that, the business part, but personal part, I've been helping, plenty of people with just with the basics. And that's when I said, I need to do it as a business and get paid for my services. So, so, um, I'm here. Val's been, well, you guys been trying to get me on the show, and this was the best fit from working from home, doing it at my house. So I'm glad that I'm here to help to even talk about the basics, and you know, that's a little bit about me.
Okay. All right. Great.
No, but we need that, and it's funny because you talked about working a full-time job while still building a business, and so many people are doing that even within this pandemic time are
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
And I think it's huge. So one of the things that you mentioned, you said working in the bank, you
Hmm.
started thinking that people knew these basics and they don't. So why don't you start there for us, Amber? Like,
Okay.
what is credit? Because when you say credit, I'm like, well, I got a credit card. Like, is that, so, but seriously, that's what some people think. Some people think, okay, I've got credit because I have a debit card. And, that means I've got credit. So why don't
Exactly.
you start there? Start by telling us what credit is.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great point what you just said. People do think debit cards and those, what's that? The Russell Simmons card that he
Rush
has,
card, rush card.
the Rush card. They think that that is helping them establish their credit. When I started in banking, I worked in the suburbs, so I worked around mostly the Caucasian demographic. So they kind of had a, understanding of it. But when I transferred to a more, it was more Puerto Rican, you know, welfare area. That's when I realized they don't know anything. They don't even realize, it's important just the basic of even having a checking account. They think that them having their check card is going to help them when they come in and say, I'm ready to buy a home and I want to get a mortgage. They think that's going to help establish that on top of their 2 years taxes. But no, you need to start with the basics, just even starting with a basic checking account with the savings account. And then that kind of diversifies your understanding of finances. People don't realize when you go into the bank, you know, those advocates that are there that's sitting behind the desk, that's free advice. I mean, you could go in and
Oh
ask
wow.
them anything. You could say, listen, I'm coming across where my mother, I'm going to have to put her in a home, which means I'm going to have to do something with her property. You can go and talk to the person behind the desk and ask them, explain to them the situation, and they can find resources for you because they have the financial advisors there to help you with all that. All that, I say that's free advice. You know,
I love that. I never even thought
Yeah.
about
a
the
lot
fact
of
that you
people
could
don't
go.
even realize that. That's the whole point of why the banks that I did work in, we had something where it was called YPB, like Your Place Banking, where you're going to different companies and you're basically doing presentation of all the products that the banks have because people don't realize that,
Yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah.
they have it. But we only did it for companies that were already had their accounts with us. So that's not really touching everybody,
Right.
you
Yeah, yeah.
know. So
So wait, let me make sure I understand. So
okay.
so let's say I don't have an account with this bank, right? But I
Mhm.
walk into the bank and I say, I'm thinking about opening up a bank account. And then I'm starting to talk to them about other things that I have going on. Like you said, I've got an elderly mother who may
Mhm.
need X, Y, and Z. So will they talk to me if I don't have an account, or do I need to have an account with them?
No, so like what you said, you're going in and you're telling them as long as you are showing that you're interested to even do, services there, they're going to open it up with you. So if you're coming
Okay.
in saying, "Listen, I don't have any bank accounts here. I see you're my neighborhood bank, but I kind of want to get some more information on the kind of products that you guys have. Can we, how do we go about that?" And pretty much if it's the right rep that you meet, they'll ask you basics about you, like an interview,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and like, okay, well, who do you bank with? Are you employed? The basics. And then you could kind of divulge a little bit more because every conversation is different. What the plan A might not work for, well, plan B may not work for the person that needs plan A or whatever. Everyone's situation is different, but they have things that can tailor to you, to help you
Yeah.
evolve. And a lot of people don't realize just even starting from there, even though like with finance server, eventually you do have to pay for those services like estate plan and things like that, depending on the type of account you have, all that. But that's when people go out and you'll pay for services and you might get ripped off because they're not giving you, well, a lot of them are ripping off actually. They're not giving you the things that you technically need. But that's the basics. You need to start with at least having the basics to set yourself up to go into the credit arena. You shouldn't even involve in going into trying to do credit cards if you can't even understand the basics.
If you
Because
don't, even if you don't have a bank account, because
yeah,
one
because
of the
that's
things
a
that
relationship. So
yeah,
credit
one of
cards.
the things that used to drive us crazy is
Mhm,
it makes me crazy, and it happens a lot in like the markets that you were talking about in more urban markets. It
mhm.
makes me crazy that people go and pay their bills at the check cashing place. Like,
Yeah,
why are
Or
you
go and get
giving
money
money or
orders.
get money
Yeah.
orders to like we're
Instead
still
of
doing check cashing places? Are we
yeah.
like open an
Yeah.
account.
I was like, I thought they went out of business. Like
No,
I didn't
there's
even think
still
it's a
no.
lot of them.
There's still plenty.
It
But
is.
what I think definitely is like even with like fast food jobs and stuff like that, they don't even give them an option of having a bank account unless you ask. They have them sign a
Check.
paper for those cards, those
Uh-huh.
cards with their paychecks on
Well,
it.
they get a
And
kickback. They get a
yeah,
kick.
exactly. And
Yeah,
so
'cause my son,
when
he just started at Little Caesar,
hmm
and I have an account set up for him.
yeah,
So I'm like, here's your debit card, and here's the direct. Like, give me the form for the direct deposit. He said,
right.
"Oh no, my job told me I have to use this prepaid card."
Yes,
And
Oh, you gotta.
exactly.
I am
I
so
said,
angry right
and they
Yeah,
now.
didn't
I
give
did
him
not
no.
know this was happening.
that's what
Yeah,
happened
they
with
don't even
Brea,
give
and I
an
was like, "Man."
option. Like they
Mhm.
didn't give him no
I said, "You are
option.
not getting a card. You will get an account."
Yep. So
But
I
see,
said,
this is
what are
the
you
stuff that
talking
we
about?
don't know. Our
Yes.
But in our communities, we don't know. Like you
Yes.
said, and if you hadn't educated yourself, he was fine with that. He's like, sure, put it on the card and
Yeah,
get paid and
yeah,
get the money.
and
But
have them
that's
sign and papers and
ridiculous.
stuff.
Yeah, because
That's
they get a
ridiculous.
kickback like that. Like Little Caesar, all those food companies, of course they want to sell that. They get a kickback from those companies when they push that out.
I
And
know. Yeah.
unfortunately,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This is really making me angry.
yeah, it's sad. And
That's sad.
unfortunately, because it's in the urban community and their parents don't even know, their parents have prepaid cards.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like
Yep.
my son got the job through his dad. His dad uses a prepaid card. He don't use
Mhm.
checking account. So it's like because they felt once you feel like you charge off with one, you're like, oh, I can never open account nowhere else. No, there's so many banks that look at it as if you didn't charge an account off with them, you can open up an account. They'll give you an opportunity to open up the basic checking
What
account.
what's charge off mean so that everybody understands that? What do you mean
So
by charge off?
that is where you had a checking account and you basically abused it, meaning you overdraft the account and never paid the money back, and then it closes out.
Okay.
So they have their own system that's kind of like the credit reports called check systems. And check systems is the system that a lot of the big banks do use, like Bank of America, TD, all of them. You did it with them, they're gonna open up your profile and say, okay, you don't qualify because you're in check system. I see you had a charge off with Wells Fargo. So once you pay that off, you could come back to us. And that is why a lot of people in the community believe that they can never open up an account. I mean, I just had a girlfriend who she still doesn't have a checking account because she owes like three banks. But I was like, there's other banks. If you're not on their system and if you are currently understanding finance, because we all make mistakes,
Yeah.
if we're not
Yeah.
educated with it.
Mhm.
So if you don't, it's a mistake you did 10 years ago, but it still stays on your record with the bank,
With
like
that
a
bank.
credit, So I think that's the main thing. A lot of people feel like that they're stuck and they have to do this. And then once you end up with that road, how are you going to go into credit cards, getting the right credit cards? You're going to go with the ones that are giving you 28%, because they're the ones that approved you. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I got this, but you're paying so much and fees. They're taking advantage of a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah.
So, that's why I feel like I need to get into this because I actually will not take advantage of people.
Right.
I
Yes,
care.
and that's what we need. We need good people that want to educate, and that's why we were excited about having you on because I think sometimes people don't want to talk about finances when they don't have a lot. Like they think,
Yeah.
I don't need a financial planner or a financial advisor. I don't have enough to need one. But the
Yeah.
reality is you need one probably even more when you don't have enough
Yeah. To help you manage.
to help you
You
manage.
do. You do
And
because
so
you don't have the same alternative as
yeah,
somebody that's established.
yeah,
You don't. Because when
yeah.
you're
And I think it's
established,
huge.
things are basically thrown your way. You have
Yeah.
people coming up to you basically giving you their services. So it's
Mhm.
like they feel like they don't need it, but you do. Especially look at what's going on with COVID. People have lost their loved ones and they can't even bury them,
Oh,
because of life insurance and things like that. People think they can't establish that. I feel like once you turn, I know this at school doesn't teach this stuff, but once you as an adult, I feel like we're a certain age, you have to take responsibility for what you want to change in your household or your generation. We don't have to stay stuck with, oh, I don't know, so I'm just going to follow the system. Everybody just follows the leader. If you even start with the basics, like I said, just even go to your bank and talk to the rep and ask them because you don't have to know. They don't expect you to be an expert, but
Yeah.
ask them just a simple question and open up those doors and open up those guys. Like I have set up people for estate plan and I have done all of that and they don't even know because I came across people who won lottery that lives in the urban community. They don't know what to do with that money. So,
Oh my God.
so they're like, I want to put on my checking. I'm like, well, no, we need to diversify this. You got kids? Let's set up these type of accounts, 504 plans, things like that, which that is, basically account that's for college, but it's also tied to the stock market, which is good because it's not going to earn the same type of earnings as a basic savings,
Yeah.
So if you start that up when they're young, when they're 18, it's going to have a nice little chunk up in there. And I know the Fed they keep going back and forth, but they kind of change it where all of it does not have to go to education. You can, if it goes to something, like if you want to buy a real estate property, they're allowed to do that with that account now. So they go back and forth with that. But, you know,
So,
I'm
all
just,
right. So let's go. So, step one, you would say to everyone, go to their local bank, go ahead and at least, open up a bank account. I think it's
mhm,
important that they take the time, ask questions. Some accounts I know have like require you to have a minimum amount or a minimum balance so that you're
yep,
not charged. So that would be first step. Go and then sort of open up an account. So
yes.
once you've got an account, then listen, I think we empower people. Look, you have your own personal advisors right there in the bank. Go and talk to the people in the bank. So I think that's one step one.
Yes.
So after we've done that, Amber, so if there's someone who doesn't have a checking account or doesn't have a bank account, period, they go and they do that. What would you say they need to do next to start understanding their credit? So they open up an account. Now, how do I start to really understand and not mess my credit up, if you
So
will?
so now you're going to go into a secured product. So you're going to tell the rep, listen, once they have the account established, you're going to say, listen, I don't know anything about credit or my credit is jacked up, but I want to learn how to establish it. What is my step that I need to do? Well, they have the secured credit cards and they also have a secured loan, which is I like the secured loan better because that one is where if you have a savings account and minimum they start with 250, just like the credit card, same thing. But you put your 250,000 in the savings account, and then they will hold that 250 in there and turn that into a loan. So it will report on your credit report and look like you took out a loan for $250. And then soon as 3 days later, they turn around and give you back that 250 right back into your account. So
Okay.
that's why I like that one because I say that that's a liquid one. So like if you are saving up and you know that you're saving up for your down payment for your house and you have 6 grand already saved up, that's the perfect product because you put it into the savings account, you turn it into it'll turn into a secured loan. That's what they call it. And then you start paying on it and it helps you establish your credit report, but
Credit.
they're getting that 6 grand right back. So you can still use that 6 grand back, to do what you need to do. If you say, well, I didn't want to tie because next week I'm going to go buy a car. I used to tell customers all the time, I'm like, oh, well, you're about to do that. Let's do this. You're going to get your money right back. And they turn it into a loan, you pay that off, and you're going to get that additional 6 grand back. So
Yeah.
that one, I like that one a lot better because the credit card, even though that's good too, but that's just going straight towards the credit limit. So once they up it from the 250, they say you get it back, but you don't. The only way you get it back is if you close it out. And then that hurts you. So you're not going to close it out because your points is going to drop.
Right. Yeah.
So a secure, which I have never even heard of a secured loan. I've heard of secured credit cards, but I've never heard of. Yeah, I had never heard of a
Yeah, a
secured
lot
loan.
of
And the thing
things.
that I like is even, I mean, you used an example of $250 and an
Mhm.
example of 6,000. So that says to me, don't limit yourself. If you don't have $6,000, but you got 250 because you're going to pay your rent at least that.
Yep.
So go up, take your rent, use that
Yep.
as your secured loan, and
Yep.
start establishing your credit. So I think that's
Like
that's
the
a really
person
good
who
piece of
has a
advice.
fixed income, that person that only gets income once a month, the Social Security recipient, you know, they get that money in there, and that's to pay their rent. So I'll tell them, listen, you're gonna get your check because usually they get it 3 days prior to the first. So if you get your 3 days, loan in there, and if your rent's not due till the 10th, you definitely could go and do the secured product and get your
Yeah.
rent money right back. And you're helping yourself establish credit at the same time because you pick the term, the bank is not setting that with the secured loan. So you could say, well, I always say put it as small as possible because it's not saying that you have to keep it open for that long time, but like 6 grand, I would say spread that out for 5 years because it looks like you did a 5-year loan for 6 grand, but you're getting a small payment. So let's say, for example, your payment is $30 a month. You want to be able to pay 3 times that, $90 a month. You do that for 3 to 6 months, your score would jump up a good 40 to 60 points just from doing that.
Wow.
So it really helped. I mean, people who really jacked up their credit, as soon as I told them that, it it works. And they're always thinking, because it works. It really does work. Your score really jumps up. You don't even have to put all that money out and pay for somebody to do the credit repair or put out those letters because that does take time. You don't have to really do it. You can start from today and say, well, Monday when I go in, I'm going to go and start. This is going to be my new start, So you don't have to look at what happened in the past. When you pull your credit report, it could be hurtful because all the stuff you see on it hurts, because you want to pay it, but you
But
might not be able to pay, but you can
So,
start with a secured product.
well, this is such a needed topic. I mean, you see me, you got my full attention. I'm sitting here because me personally, I've been off the grid for a while, so I'm in the process of starting all that over. And
Mhm.
it's easier said than done when life is happening and you got to deal with
Yeah.
that. Okay, I got to put that on hold again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really seeing how important this is for our communities in the
Yeah.
urban area. It really is.
oh, but you gonna wait to the end because I listen because we gonna talk because you need to be marketing this to the high
Oh,
schools. You
without a
talked
doubt.
about
Without a
the
doubt.
high schools aren't teaching
And
this.
that's
You need a virtual package that you're gonna
Yeah.
put together and you're gonna sell to all the local high schools
Yeah.
okay.
on educating people. So we're gonna talk.
And,
That's
Okay.
the whole
Well,
idea.
in the
I
homeschool,
used to
in the
talk to
homeschool
the
as well.
schools. I did
Yes.
used to do that through the bank. I would set up seminars and talk to the schools and talk,
You need to do
but
that.
Yes.
it's only because I would tell them I want to do it. Every bank they had, like I said, a lot of them don't even like doing. They don't want to go into the urban community and do
Of
it
course
Yeah.
not.
because they feel like, well, it's a quota. So they're like, I'm not gonna get no quality accounts out of there. So I don't even want to waste my time. But I go in because I know our people don't even realize, that there's so many resources just there that
Yeah.
has taught me so much. And I'm like, wow, they really don't want to help. They don't want to help.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be the one be like, listen, I have these questions, and you're gonna have to make them have no choice but to answer them because a lot of
Yep.
them don't. They just want to get you in and out so they can make their quota and move on. But you got to make them have quality conversations with you. Take everything you out of them. If they don't know it, listen. We have a guide in the computer. It can pull it up and give it to them. You can print it out, even if they don't understand it, because they might not understand what you're asking. But once they pull it out, they can say, "Listen, I'll give you this resource." Like you gotta let these banks work for you. You do. You
All
have
right.
to
So we're
put them.
So we want them to open up an account. They're going to open up an account.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, so we're getting people off the grid, like getting them, we got
Back
to
on the
back on
grid.
the grid. Okay. People who went off the grid, we need you to get back on the grid. Okay. So get on the grid by going to open up an account, talk to, like, just don't go talk to a teller. Like those little chairs and offices and desks that they have, you go sit and you talk to somebody so you can find out the resources.
Yeah,
I
that's the
love how you
personal
talk about,
banker. You talk to
yes,
the personal banker.
personal banker. So
Mm-hmm.
go open you an account, but talk to a personal banker.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, you mentioned getting secured loans or a secured credit card to start establishing your credit.
Because
But I
every
think
bank does not offer, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
Every
no, no.
bank
Go ahead.
does not offer the secured loan, but you can ask them and just say, listen, I want to establish credit. I know I need to do a secured product. Which one do you have? Do you have a loan or do you have a credit card? Citizen Bank has the secured loan. I love that one. Um, it's a 6% fixed rate. And I listen, I don't even work there anymore, but that one is a good product. I know Santander has one, but I don't really like Santander Bank because I don't feel like they're for the.
Because I have an account with them, so I need to know why we don't like them.
Well, they're not for the people, and if you like right now, they just been fined by the CFPB, which they are the ones that control all the finance stuff. So they do the mortgaging. They're the ones that actually had Bank of America and charged them like 200 and something billion dollars a couple years ago. Not TD. It's another. Oh, Wells Fargo, the one that
Okay.
just happened recently. They had to pay like a 400 and something billion-dollar fine. They're the ones that hold them accountable for the things that they are doing to the community, taking advantage of people basically. So Santander's
Okay.
one of them. They just got a big fine for doing a lot of that. They in certain demographic areas, they listen, I don't want to get into legal.
I know. Yeah.
I don't want them coming after me.
Nice to know that
Let's
so that
listen now.
people know what banks are out there doing that kind of stuff, doing those
Yeah.
violations.
Like they call it redlining. Those are certain things that are doing that. That's basically where you go into the urban community and you're giving them inflated rates and things like that. So I would say Citizen Bank, it definitely does the security. They do both. So, but you can ask any bank, whatever banks in your area, credit unions, you can ask either one, any of them what secure products they have, so you can start with that.
But so here's the question that I have, because you talked about getting the secured loan or the secure credit card, and you had said something about your credit score jumping points. People don't understand credit scores, so can you explain to us, first of all, what is credit score and why is it even important? Like, why should I care what my credit score is?
Well, credit
How do I check my credit score? Because that's a
Oh. Okay. Well, yes. Okay, so I'll go from there. I guess checking the credit score. So the main thing is you want to pull your credit reports. Right now, because of COVID, all of the credit bureaus are giving you free. You're able to pull your credit report once a month for free for 12 months. So every month,
Once a
I mean,
month?
it's about to end in December, but they advertise well, people don't know, but if you work in finance, they let us know. So you're allowed to pull your credit report, no fee or anything. They do ask you for that card number, but that's just something they have to ask for, but you're not being charged. You can pull that once a month and see where you stand. So you want to see what your score is, and if you see anything that is below a 650, you need to be working on your score, because you're not gonna this is gonna help this is not gonna help you get good products basically. So you may be able to go get a car, but you're gonna get that high rate. You're gonna get the 25%, the 20, like you're gonna get the highest one that they offer. So you're paying a lot of interest. So if you bought a car for 22 grand and then you did it for the 60-month period, you basically paid double for that same car for 20 grand because the interest. So that's what you're paying. You're paying a lot of the interest, and that's what the rate is. So I would say work on your credit. You definitely need to work on your credit. You can't, even with houses, you
But
know.
what is credit? Like that's what people don't understand. Like what is it?
So it's basically a bank, you're earning their trust. You're basically earning their trust, like Capital One. You want them to trust you to be able to say, okay, let's say you want to open up a business, okay, and you know you need to buy products, so you need a higher credit limit. You need something that's going to give you at least like 10 grand. Well, if your score is not good, you're not even going to get that. They might say, well, we'll start you, they offer secured products. We'll start you with a secured credit card, and then we'll see how you do from there. Credit is basically a relationship. Look at it like a relationship, a trust and relationship,
Right.
like a new mate that you're trying to meet, and you're trying to earn their trust to let them know that you're not going to hurt them. You know, so look at credit like that.
Okay.
I am trying to earn your trust because I know I made mistakes in the past, but you know, now I'm trying to really establish myself. So I need to get in the door, and I need you to help me get in the door. How can I earn your trust? That's basically what credit is. And
Okay.
that's how they give you more of the limit. They'll raise the limits and be like, okay, well, I see this person's been really paying on time. You know, they haven't done anything, like they always pay before the statement period's up. We can give them a little bit more, and then they give you increase it a little bit, and then you go from there. You build that, and once you do that with one credit card company, now you'll see them all flooding, sending you mail offers because you have really been establishing a good relationship with them. Now they're coming after you like, well, if you could do a relationship with them, then I want you too. You know, because banks make money, of course, off of you, but you want to be able to control how much money they make off of you. If your credit's bad, they're making a lot of money off of you. So, you know, if your credit's good, they're not making so much. But you are helping that you're still helping them because, you know, they have a quota that they have to make, and the more they lend out, the bigger the bank becomes. Yeah, it's just a whole nother thing. But you want to look at it like a trust and relationship, somebody that you're not going to hurt. Look at credit like that.
Perfect.
You need to program your mind like
I
that.
think we all understand that one. How many like is there such thing as too many credit cards? Like is there, because you were saying like once that one kind of starts to build, then it's like I'm gonna get offers from a bunch of others. Is that a good thing for me to start opening up more, or should I not have like too many accounts?
So when you are trying to buy a house, you have to have at least 3 credit products. So, and that does not include a car loan. That's not really what they mean. 3 credit cards basically is what you need. The way America has designed the system is the more credit cards you have, the more money you are making the economy. So they want to push you to have more, but you want to have at least 3. And I really say it really depends on what you're trying to do. So somebody who is wanting to do business and start a business, you know, I mean, you want to make sure you have credit cards they have high limits. So if you have 3 and they're all like under 1,000, which that doesn't help, you might need to get a little bit more. You might have to go and ask for a credit increase, but you know that's going to go based off of your income. They're going to see, well, why you need this credit increase. You might say, well, now I'm making 100 grand a year, where before when I did that $1,000 credit card that you gave me, it was only based off of a $20,000 income, but now I'm making 100. So I need 10 grand. So they'll ask you for your income, and then some of them they might ask for a pay stub just to really see what you're saying is correct. But you'll be able to demand a higher credit limit. Now in that situation, you might not need a lot of credit cards. You might just want 3. But if you have the credit card, like the companies that are really giving good points and money, American Express, Discover, you want to get involved with them, but they don't trust people with bad credit right away.
So
So
is that so it does matter if I have like a Macy's credit card versus an American Express.
and that's
Like
considered
they're
a
not created equal.
revolving, yeah, so that's revolving credit. You want to go, so you have installment credit, which that is the car loans. You have the revolving, which those are the department cards, and then you have the regular charge credit cards. Those are the ones that are Capital One, TD, all of that. You want to not take the department credit cards. I mean, I don't
Oh,
see.
really?
I mean, like I said, it depends on what your goal is.
Yeah.
But if your end goal is to create some wealth in your family, which usually that is by starting some sort of type of business, they don't do you justice. You
Okay.
don't need department credit cards so you can shop and buy Gucci and be in Saks Fifth. Oh, I got a Saks Fifth card. Okay, but that can't help you. So now you might have Saks, Nordstrom, and Neiman's. That's 3 credit cards that you have right there. And then you need major credit cards because that's what helps you get a mortgage. You need the major credit cards. So it's not the department stores that's helping you. You need the major credit cards to do some things that's going to change your life, change where you're trying to go. Everybody wants to buy a home. Eventually, some point in their life, you want to own a piece of property. They're not helping you, the revolving credit card. The car
Perfect.
loan's not going to help you either when when the underwriters have to pull your profile. You need to have a credit card and they need to see how you've been using them. Because you're earning their trust now, and they need to see how responsible you have been with those. I would stay away from the department credit cards, and they all have high interest rates too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
That's
Good.
I think
Okay.
Yeah.
Because most people don't realize that. When you go into any store, the first thing they want to do is ask you if you want to open up a credit card.
You want to
Yeah.
you want an account? You want a Victoria's Secret Angel account?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I just helped my girlfriend establish her credit and now she's at a 760. So she loves Nordstrom. She loves Nordstrom. And they gave her an offer because now it's a radar and they know her credit's good. But she did start with secured credit cards. So now, we're moving to the next level as far as helping her with what she needs to do. But she did start with secured credit cards, the Discover one for 250, Capital, and then her TD Bank. So they all were 250 each. But when you are trying to because she wants to do a business, when you're trying to do a business and get a high limit, like you want those $20,000 credit card limits that have the high interest rate where they're giving you $2. And that's another thing that our community is missing out on. Free money. You know, you go to a grocery store and they're giving you 3 points on top of the dollar that you spent. That's free money that they're giving away, and the other community understands that. They
You know,
understand.
you know how I feel about my points.
Yeah.
Listen, I want my hotel credit. I want my gas credit. I want my cash back. Like, I want my point. I want all you owe me. Give me all.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember having a customer. He was young, but he was Caucasian and his parents established him, of course. So he had 2 credit cards and he got approved for one with the bank that I was at, and it was like for 15 grand. But they had a bonus if he spent 3 grand in the 90-day,
Yeah.
period, then he'll get it was yeah, it was a $300 credit he would get. So he was like, I don't even use the credit cards that I have, but I want the free money. I mean, this boy's 18 telling me this. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna use the free money and then I'm not gonna use it no more. I'm gonna pay it off and not use it no more. And I was like, you're really smart. And he was like, yeah, that's what my parents told me to do because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Oh, you just okay. So that's okay. No, but seriously, because this is the problem, and this is why there is a gap between different communities and different income levels
Yeah.
because it's important to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Said it earlier, but if as a parent, if you don't know, then how do you start to educate your kids? And I know this is something that you've been educating Jabrea on as a freshman college student on getting a credit card and the importance of these and building credit. But it's not something, these aren't conversations that we're having in our community
Yeah.
unless Jay-Z raps about generational wealth, or, you know, at least
Yeah.
drops a quick line and drops
Yeah. Because
bars
soon as
on
he
it.
talked about buying a piece of art that was worth $1 billion, now you hear everybody like, oh my God, you know, Jay-Z. Now, I didn't realize that that's assets.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't realize that's an asset. I might be broke, but I got that $1 million art that I might have got at a junkyard, didn't even realize it was worth money, you know, and that could change their whole life. So it is sad that they look for the music to educate them because they're
so that's
learning
how we
too.
need you to tell everybody watching, how do people get a hold of you? Because I mean, clearly you're like, we could keep going on and talk about so much things, like about a house. I mean, we don't know what to do when a parent passed away. We're thinking we have to qualify for a mortgage when that house is yours because, you know, your mom left it to you. And like, we just don't know these things. We don't
Yeah,
know things. You know,
yeah.
we got, you know, electric and utilities, and deceased people's names or in kids' names. And so these conversations are really important.
Yeah.
So how can people get a hold of you? How do they schedule a session with you so that they can start to get educated about these things?
Well, I am on Facebook and Instagram. Um, my credit company is called Great Opportunity Decision. So you can look that up on Facebook, Great Opportunity Decision, and Instagram as well. Um, and you know, you can hit me up in the inbox and you know, let me know or you could click the link on Facebook. There's a link that says book a consultation, and you know, we can talk for 30 minutes to see where you stand for free.
Okay. Good opportunity decision.
Great opportunity
Great,
decision.
great. Okay, good. Great opportunity. Right. We're going from good to great. We don't have time for this. We're going from good to great. Great opportunity decision. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So before we wrap up here, I guess what advice would you give? I mean, you've given us so many different jewels, but what advice would you give to people right now during this pandemic, just to kind of encourage them and give them hope that they can get things together for themselves?
Well, you know, we still have basically a whole month before the year's up, you know, because we're going into November. So you still have time to get yourself established now, but you need to basically look in the mirror and look at yourself where you're at, write down where you want to be, and you need to start making steps. And usually it's all tied to financing. So
Yep.
you need to write down the questions that you know you're going to ask or whatever's going on in your life, write them down, and then go into your bank on Monday and ask them, you know, about this. And
Get
don't be
started.
scared. Like you'll have people come in and they know they're on check system, they know they owe another bank something, and they're scared to come in and say, you know, I want to get a checking account and say, but I might have messed up with another bank, but I'm working on paying that back, but I'm trying to get it. Like, don't be scared to be vulnerable with yourself, you know, because they are there to help you. And if you feel like they're not there to help you, then you know you need to basically write your questions down and tell them, I need this, and that's it. But you still need that account, so don't
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
Don't run
No,
that
right.
run and say, well, I'm not gonna stay away because people think that they're intimidating because they may come across there or they might come off short. You know, there's not a lot of black people in the branches, you know, so you usually they'll try to go to the ones that are their color. Even the Puerto Ricans, they try to speak to one that speaks Spanish, but they might not even be helpful either. So,
You can
so
always ask for someone else.
Right.
You can
yeah,
always ask for someone else. You're the customer and you should ask.
that's right. So demand
Someone
what
else.
you want. You know,
Yep.
these services are free. And there's no reason why you can't demand what you need out of them. And they
Yeah.
need to give you the resources to where you need to look, because you might not understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I'm so
You're
happy.
We are so excited that you finally decided to join us.
I'm so
We are
glad I
so
came.
excited.
Yes.
This was good, and yeah, we could talk. I could talk long about this, but
There's more. There's so much more that you can talk about with this also. I mean, when it comes to finance and credit and everything, this is just one portion of this is a whole, storyline that we
Yeah.
can do,
yeah, yeah,
because people need help. They
yeah,
absolutely need help.
yeah.
So,
COVID is around the time people need to be doing estate planning. I
yeah.
mean, there is banks that you can start it with minimal, $100. Like, they need to start this stuff now.
We need to have you back on when tax season starts because
We need to catch people before they start doing crazy things with
yeah,
these tax refunds. So
that's
please
good.
mark your calendar, put us
Yeah.
down in
We need that.
January
Yeah.
Okay.
because that tax refund money is a nice time for people to start
Yes.
thinking about investing and how to build their credit. And so I think
Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't even think about that. But
I'm
yeah.
excited. So you need to
Okay.
write that down. You need to be
Yeah.
very busy
Mhm.
come January because we have got to catch people before they do crazy things with their income tax refund.
Very true. Okay, I will.
All right.
Well, we so appreciate you joining us today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. All
Thank
right,
you.
so we are gonna say bye, and we'll look forward to seeing Amber again in January. And make sure that everyone eat like you give a damn about yourself and believe in you.
Yes, great opportunity decisions. Go check them out on
Yes.
Facebook.
We love it.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you for
Bye.
having